right. All right, this story is called Thank You, Ma'am. It's by Langston Hughes. I want y'all to turn to page 176. It has a picture of him, okay? I think he's a cool-looking cat. You know what I'm saying? His hair sleek back like that, his suit, he got his tie on. He's a cool-looking cat. Now look, Langston Hughes is my favorite. He's like one of my favorite American authors. He is definitely my favorite black author. He might be my favorite author overall. I'm not really sure. I don't have a number one. But I'll tell you, this dude he's up there in my top 5. I don't even have to think about it, and I just know that. What he is good at is he writes dynamic dialogue, okay? Like I can hear the characters' voices and the way they sound because he knows how to write slang so very well. Y'all know what slang is? It's our words like ain't and fixin', stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? He writes it so well that you just feel like you can just hear it. You know, you can hear these voices that are so accurate. So he's an outstanding writer. We're going to read this. Everybody turn to 172. Ty, did you have a question, my friend? Okay. Does anybody have a question before we get started? Okay, if while reading you need me to stop, please let me know, and I'm more than happy to do that. I love this. This is so good. So good. Thank You, Ma'am by Langston Hughes. She was a large woman with a large purse that had everything in it but hammer and nails. It had a long strap, and she carried it slung across her shoulder. It was about 11 o'clock at night, and she was walking alone when a boy ran up behind her and tried to snatch her purse. The strap broke with the single tug the boy gave it from behind, but the boy's weight and the weight of the purse combined caused him to lose his balance. Instead of taking off full blast as he had hoped, the boy fell on his back on the sidewalk and his legs flew up. The large woman simply turned around, kicked him right square in his blue jeans sitter. Then she reached down, picked the boy up by his shirt front, and shook him until his teeth rattled. After that, the woman said, "Pick up my pocketbook, boy, and give it here." She still held him, but she bent down enough to permit him to stoop and pick up her purse. Then she said, "Now ain't you ashamed of yourself?" Firmly gripped by his shirt front, the boy said, "Yes'm." Woman said, "What'd you want to do it for?" The boy said, "I didn't aim to." She said, "You a lie." By that time, 2 or 3 people passed, stopped, turned to look, and stood up watching. "If I turn you loose, will you run?" asked the woman. "Yes'm," said the boy. "Then I won't turn you loose," said the woman. She did not release him. "Lady, I'm sorry," whispered the boy. "Your face is dirty. I got a great mind to wash your face for you. Ain't you got nobody home tell you to wash your face?" "No," said the boy. "Then it will get washed this evening," said the large woman, starting up the street, dragging the frightened boy behind her. Let's stop there. When he whispers that, he said, "Lady, I'm sorry." Why is he whispering right there?
Somebody probably tried to make him do it.
No. Why?
Maybe one of his relatives.
No. You.
He thought that somebody was going to call the cops.
No. Are there a bunch of people standing around?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is he whispering?
People are
There's a whole
watching.
bunch of people.
He doesn't want people knowing. He's scared to.
We're looking for an adjective, y'all. What adjective describes him?
Frightened.
He's embarrassed. Don't you hate when you go somewhere and your mom makes a scene? Imagine some lady grabbing you and making a scene, and you're obviously defenseless against her because she is shaking him around like he is a twig. You know what I'm saying? He's like, "God, I'm sorry." He's like, "Let me go, please." You know what I'm saying? She's doing anything she can to get, or he's doing anything he can to get out of it. He's totally embarrassed. Well, she says she's going to take him home and do what to him? Wash his face. He must look haggard. Like that? Uh-huh. Let's keep going. He looked as if he were 14 or 15, frail and willow wild in tennis shoes and blue jeans. The woman said, "You ought to be my son. I would teach you right from wrong. Least I can do right now is to wash your face. Are you hungry?" "No," said the being dragged boy. "I just want you to turn me loose." "Was I bothering you when I turned that corner?" asked the woman. "No, but you put yourself in contact with me," said the woman. "If you think that contact is not going to last a while, you got another thing coming. When I get through with you, sir, you are going to remember Mrs. Luella Bates Washington Jones." You can tell this is a black lady with some attitude. Can't y'all tell that? Remember when I told y'all like 10 minutes ago that Langston Hughes just had this real talent of being able to do that? I could tell you no white lady would ever call herself Mrs. Luella Bates Washington Jones. You know what I'm talking about? But you can just tell this dude is just he writes such good dialogue. You know what I'm saying? I can feel this lady. You know what I'm talking about? Let's keep going. Sweat popped out on the boy's face and he began to struggle. Mrs. Jones stopped, jerked him around in front of her, put a half Nelson about his neck. That means put him in a headlock like this. I would do it with y'all, but because of COVID, we're not going to touch each other. But, put it in a headlock and continued to drag him up the street. When she got to her door, she dragged the boy inside, down a hall, and into a large kitchenette furnished room at the rear of the house. She switched on the light and left the door open. The boy could hear other roomers laughing and talking in the large house. Some of their doors were open too. So he knew he and the woman were not alone. The woman still had him by the neck in the middle of her room. She said, "What is your name?" "Roger," answered the boy. "Then, Roger, you go to that sink and wash your face," said the woman, whereupon she turned him loose at last. Roger looked at the door, looked at the woman, looked at the door, and went to the sink. Right there. She turned him loose to go wash his face. This is for you. You ready? Said Roger looked at the door, looked at the woman, looked at the door, and went to the sink. Kaylin, what is Roger thinking about doing?
He thought about running, but
That's right.
the runner just went in.
Why do you think he decided not to run?
Because this woman cares about him.
No. You.
Because she was watching him.
No. You.
He's scared of him.
He probably figures if he ran and got caught, his life would be a lot worse. You know what I'm talking about? But he was definitely thinking about running, but he didn't. Yeah.
Well, I can't say it yet, but I feel like, I forgot what the word is called though, where send something in the story, like,
Foreshadowing?
yeah.
There's no foreshadowing here.
Well,
Let's keep going. If there is, I've missed it. "Let the water run till it gets warm," she said. "Here's you a clean towel." "You gonna take me to jail?" asked the boy, bending over the sink. "Not with that face. I would not take you nowhere," said the woman. "Here I am, trying to get home, cook me a bite to eat, and you snatch my pocketbook. Maybe you ain't been to your supper either, late as it be. Have you?" "There's nobody home at my house," said the boy. "Then we'll eat," said the woman. "I believe you're hungry or been hungry. Try to snatch my pocketbook." "I wanted a pair of blue suede shoes," said the boy. "Well, you did not have to snatch my pocketbook to get some suede shoes," said Mrs. Luella Bates Washington Jones. "You could have asked me." "Ma'am?" The water dripping from his face, the boy looked at her. There was a long pause, very long pause. After he had dried his face and not knowing what else to do, dried it again, the boy turned around, wondering what next. The door was open. He could make a dash for it down the hall. He could run. The woman was sitting on the daybed. After a while, she said, "I were young once, and I wanted things I could not get." There was another long pause. The boy's mouth opened. Then he frowned, but not knowing he frowned. The woman said, "You thought I was going to say but, didn't you? You thought I was going to say, but I didn't snatch people's pocketbooks." "Well, I wasn't going to say that." Pause. Silence. "I have done things too. which I would not tell you, son, neither tell God if he didn't already know. So you sit down while I fix us something to eat. You might run that comb through your hair so you look presentable. In another corner of the room, behind the screen, was a gas plate and an ice box. Let's stop there. A gas plate is like a little bitty small stove. Do y'all know what an ice box is? What is
It's
it?
an old fridge
Yeah.
type thing. It's like whenever
Yeah,
people started first, like
that's right.
it was cold.
Ice box refrigerators used to be what kind of like we have coolers now. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they would have. They put ice in them, and that's what they had. And then when they had refrigerators, the old people still called refrigerators ice boxes because it was called an ice box. My grandma called it an ice box, even though we did not have an ice box anymore. Okay, I've never seen an ice box, but an ice box is a refrigerator. Mrs. Jones got up and went behind the screen. The woman did not watch the boy to see if he was going to run, nor did she watch her purse, which she left behind on her daybed. But the boy took care to sit on the far side of the room, where he thought she could easily see him out of the corner of her eye, if she wanted to. He did not trust the woman not to trust him, and he did not want to be mistrusted now. Do you need somebody to go to the store? Asked the boy, maybe to get some milk or something? Don't believe I do, said the woman, unless you just want sweet milk yourself. I was going to make cocoa out of this canned milk I got here. That will be fine, said the boy. She heated some lima beans and ham she had in the icebox, made the cocoa, and set the table. The woman did not ask the boy anything about where he lived, or his folks, or anything else that would embarrass him. Instead, as they ate, she told him about her job in a hotel beauty shop that stayed open late, what the work was like, and how all kinds of women came in and out, blondes, redheads, and brunettes. Then she cut him a half of her 10-cent cake. Eat some more, son, she said. When they were finished eating, she got up and said, now here, take this $10 and buy yourself some blue suede shoes. And next time, do not make the mistake of latching onto my pocketbook nor anybody else's, because shoes come by devilish like that will burn your feet. I got to get my rest now, but from here on in, son, I hope you'll behave yourself. She led him down the hall to the front door and opened it. Good night, behave yourself, boy, she said, looking out in the street. The boy wanted to say something other than thank you, ma'am, to Mrs. Luella Bates Washington Jones, but although his lips moved, he couldn't even say that as he turned at the foot of the barren stoop and looked up at the large woman in the door. Then she shut the door. All right.